At large, I represent all 3,992 square miles of Weld County. And I want to address some of the questions that Senator Boyd and Senator Bacon have raised. Give me a few minutes here.
Please.
I know it's been a long day. You've had a
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I've come here today in support of Senate Bill 95, Senator Renfro's bill, because, and I'm representing not only myself here, I'm representing the Weld County Board of County Commissioners, and I'm also sit on the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is the lead air quality planning organization for Northern Colorado, including all of Larimer County and Weld County. It also includes the cities of Fort Collins, Loveland, Greeley, as well as a number of municipalities basically north of Meade on I-25 there, including Johnstown, Milliken, Evans, Eaton, etc. I come here today to testify in favor of this bill because last year, as this bill went through, we appeared before a number of committees saying this action is premature. I will readily admit that in 2006, the data showed that we were out of compliance. Weld County was their monitor there, and Weld County showed us at 0.082. The standard, and it still is the standard today, is 0.080. What happened at that particular point in time, there were measures undertaken prior to the introduction of Senate Bill 3, prior to any action that may or may not come about because of last year's passage of Senate Bill 3. I think that's very, very important. What essentially happened is Weld County has a lot of oil and gas exploration. We all know that. It's one of the top oil-producing counties in the state. A lot of the ozone that was being generated that created that out of compliance was being generated by the oil and gas community. After our Board of County Commissioners engaged with the oil and gas community, and at a considerable cost, $35 million, the oil and gas industry went about preventive actions to basically reduce the amount of ozone that is typically produced. And the Colorado Department of Health, and I know we have a good expert here in terms of Doug Lemke, my good friend, we spend a lot of time debating each other at different forums, is typically measured from late May to the end of September. That is the high ozone part of that. The numbers that I'm going to give you are the Colorado Department of Health numbers. These aren't numbers that are made up by anybody. They're made up by the entity that you charge as legislators to monitor these things. In 2006, we had a 0.082 in Weld County. I don't have the Larimer numbers. Senator Bacon, you may have those. Do you have those? In terms of that, the numbers in West Fort Collins, the West Fort Collins number was 0.087. The Fort Collins CSU station was 0.078. We all recognized we had a problem. What ensued was an action that wasn't mandated by anybody. We recognized we had a problem, and we went about to solve that problem. And Senator Boyd, you're right. We should be here celebrating today. Instead, we're here trying to defend, and I will directly answer your question that you asked earlier in terms of additional measures that I don't think will improve our air, and quite frankly cost the taxpayers of Weld and Larimer County considerable money, and I'll get back to that later in my testimony. The actions that we took, we started those actions in 2006. They were phased in over the last 3 years, and let me tell you what basically happened. In the first year, we saw the 0.082 drop to 0.075 in Weld County in 2007. In 2008, it went down to 0.071. Last year, it went down to 0.067. We have seen a 20% reduction in ozone levels in Weld County. Similar numbers in all of the meters in Fort Collins, your area, Senator Bacon, have dramatically gone down because of these actions that weren't mandated. They were proactive actions taken by us to ensure health. We all. My daughter is an asthmatic, and I have said many times, it impacts my family greatly. I would not be here today if I did not believe that the actions that have been taken have made our air cleaner, and that we have made dramatic steps, and we should be celebrating this. We should not be sitting here looking at more punitive actions on the residents of Larimer and Weld County. The new standard that doesn't even go into effect, I think the important thing that needs to be stated here is this new standard of .075 isn't even mandated to go into effect until 2013. We came before the legislature last year, a group of us, including the Larimer County Commissioners, the Weld County Commissioners, and a number of mayors and city council people, saying, look, this is a premature action. Let's see if the actions that we have taken in terms of reducing ozone, in terms of northern Colorado, are working. And originally, the North Front Range MPO said we should probably move forward with automobile testing. After they got these results in, there was a complete reversal. And again, I state that the North Front Range MPO is the lead air quality entity. It is made up of all the municipalities in the North Front Range, including Fort Collins, Loveland, Greeley, Evans. They voted last year, after we got these new numbers in, that an emissions program, quite frankly, is not needed, and it is too premature. We don't have any problem. In fact, by federal law, to answer your question, Senator Cruz, we will be mandated by the EPA. You will hear testimony later from the Colorado Department of Health that the EPA is even looking at reducing that number further, maybe somewhere between .060 and .070. If that's the case, the entire state of Colorado is going to be out of compliance, quite frankly, when this debate is moot. But the fact remains, if they come back with a .070, I'm confident in telling you that when I come back here next year and I have the 2010 ratings based on all the preventative actions we've taken, that Weld County still will be under that new .070. Well, I mean, quite frankly, this is a cure looking for a disease that just simply is not out there. And I think what Senator Renfro has done is responded to his constituents and said, you know, folks, this is not a needed program at this time. We will be the first entities to be back working with Senator Bacon, working with Senator Renfro to put in a program if those ozone levels go back up. But I defy anybody to tell me where in this region they've seen on the Front Range of Colorado, 20% decrease in ozone. The other thing is I talked to our clerk and recorder coming in here because I wanted to get a kind of fiscal impact on what we're talking about. The program, first of all, the program that is being used, quite frankly, and Senator Romer brought this up at a recent Joint Budget Committee hearing about looking at this program. It only, according to data that the Weld County County Attorney has gotten hold of from the Department of Health, only captures 7% of high emitters. If we're really interested in going after ozone level, let's go after the high emitters. The high emitters are the older automobiles. And I think any kind of program that needs to be put in place. The other thing that is astonishing about this program, we're going to have an air quality control hearing in a few weeks up in Weld County to determine the rulemaking process for this. At that hearing, they're going to propose they do 4 testing stations in all of Larimer and Weld County. I would argue with you that we're going to create more ozone in Larimer, Senator Bacon. We're going to create more ozone with people driving our county 3,992 miles. And contrary to your earlier statement, we have vast areas in the county. We did not eliminate, when you introduced your bill, all of Weld County was in the bill. Yes, I appreciate the fact that there was a recognition that northeastern Weld County is rural, but there are vast numbers of acreage that we're a huge county. And the other part of that is that you've got Estes Park in the program, where it is one of the number one tourist attractions in the country. People coming to Rocky Mountain National Park in the summertime. Those cars are out of state. A lot of people drive their automobiles there. So now we've got a testing program that tests local residents, but the millions of visitors to Rocky Mountain National Park with high emitter automobiles are going to be going up to our new wilderness area, emitting, and they're not going to be tested. But the people in Estes Park are going to be tested. I think that's an equity issue that needs to be addressed in terms of all of this. So let me give you the fiscal impact. According to the county clerk and recorder, and I just talked to Steve Marino, and he said I could attribute this to him, we will have essentially 185,000 automobiles that will need to be tested in Weld County for this program. I have been told that it's basically a $25 fee, which is essentially a drive-by, and I think you'll have testimony from one of the vendors here today, I don't know. And then a $2.50 administration fee. That's $27 per automobile. You do the math. This is a $5 million impact just to Weld County. I don't have